approach this question type, you should follow these 4 steps. First, gain a general understanding of the notes. Next, you need to identify the word forms needed for the gaps. Then you need to scan the passage. And finally, read it intensively to find the correct answer. The first step is to get a general understanding of the notes. Firstly, make sure you read the instructions carefully to understand how many words you can write in the gaps. Next, read the notes quickly and pay attention to any subheadings because they can make it easier to find the appropriate part of the text. Also, pay attention to how bullet points are used. Sometimes a different bullet point is used to make it clear when the notes include an example. So as you read, you should identify the keywords. Here's an example of some note completion questions. In questions 1 to 5, you need to complete the notes below. Write no more than 2 words from the text in each gap. So make sure you read the instructions carefully because they tell you how many words you can use to fill in the blanks. You can see that there is a title and a subtitle. And you can see that the main ideas are listed in bullet points. Similarly, the second part of the notes is organized this way. It has a subtitle and the main information is listed in bullet points. Notice that different formatting is used for examples. Sometimes it is a smaller bullet point or a dash in this case. It's also a good idea to identify any keywords that might help you to locate the answers in the reading. It's best to focus on the keywords in the questions rather than every keyword in all the notes. Thinking of synonyms as you identify the keywords can save you time later. While you look for the keywords, you could have a little conversation in your mind like this. For question 1, less means fewer or going down or reducing. For question 2, you could be thinking impacted means affected, maybe negatively. And new skills means abilities. So this could be about work training. Now look at the keywords which have been identified in question 3. Here are a few questions to ask yourself. What is another word with a similar meaning to fewer? Yes, it could be less, not as much. What is another word with a similar meaning for find? Yeah, it could be search or locate. You should keep these synonyms in mind when scanning the reading later. It is a useful skill that will help you find the answers faster. Okay, the next step is to identify the type of word you need to complete each gap. The most common word type needed is probably a noun or an adjective plus a noun. But it could also be a number or any other word type. Of course, if it's a number, the instructions would tell you that this is possible by saying that you can use words and or a number. In this example, it seems that the answer to question 1 could be an uncountable noun, because nouns are used after less are always uncountable. For example, less time or less money. Adjectives can also be used after the word less. For example, less happy or less expensive. But a noun is more likely to be used in a list of arguments. Be careful though, because there is a 2-word limit. So the answer could also be a noun group, perhaps an adjective plus a noun, such as less free time. Okay, so here are some tips on how to scan. Find the part of the reading passage that contains the information in the notes. You can look for any of the keywords from the questions in the notes, but remember that the text may not contain the exact words, so be on the lookout for synonyms. If there are any headings in the notes, these can often guide you to find the relevant part of the text. Let's have a look at the example again. There are two subheadings in the notes. These are arguments for and arguments against. Subheadings can help you quickly locate the right section in the reading passage, so it's wise to pay attention to them. If you scan the text, these two paragraphs stand out. In these paragraphs, you can see some words with similar meanings, including not everyone agrees and proponents, which means supporters or people who agree. As we continue, we see the words critics and argue. This tells you that you have probably found the right place in the text. Now it's time to read in detail and try to find and match the keywords from the question. Let's look at the question 1 again. You should expect to find the answer in the first part of the paragraph. If you read intensively, you can see that the verb reduce is used, which relates in meaning to less. So the answer you need, therefore, is income inequality. The phrase income inequality fits both the meaning and is just 2 words, so it meets the word limit. Therefore, the answer you need is income inequality. Okay, so that's how you answer note completion questions